Hey, mahalo everyone, welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I'm your host 40 and we are back with another video on the global version of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, I'm actually going to be starting another new segment in relation to Dissidia Opera Omnia that I like to call the underappreciated. So this is where I talk about a character within the Dissidia Opera Omnia universe that is generally underused because they don't have as much functionality as like some of the better characters, such as let's say like Cloud or Squall or Yuna or Dark Knight Cecil. So these are characters that generally need a little bit more TLC, they need a little bit more love for them to, you know, function a little bit better, especially if they're your favorites or if you want to use them. So I wanted to open up this segment with the character Shadow from Final Fantasy VI. Now, Shadow is one of my favorite characters out of all time in the entire Final Fantasy universe. When I first played Final Fantasy VI or Final Fantasy III back then on the Super Nintendo, he was actually one of the characters that I really liked. I always saved Shadow during the floating continent scene. So I like Shadow. I thought he was a really cool character, and I was really sad to see that first in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, which is another mobile game, he was kind of like the joke character pull because he was definitely not very good. He got a little bit of love in Dissidia Opera Omnia, but he still kind of falls short. But I'm gonna definitely tell you guys, you know, ways that, you know, you could definitely use him. So we're gonna do a character overview, kind of go over his stats, his abilities, his passives. We're gonna go over his pros and cons. We're gonna go over what they could give him. So Square, I know you guys watch my videos, so if you guys are watching this, you know, this is what you could be giving Shadow to make him a little bit better. And then finally, we're gonna go over some characters that you could actually use as teammates to make him work a little bit better for the team. And then I'll show you guys some gameplay with a particular team centralized around Shadow. So let's go ahead and get right to it. So we have here Shadow statistics. He is a ranged attacker. He is in the fast speed tier category. So generally, if he is on your team, he is going to be taking his turn first before everybody else, unless of course you have other members in your party that are of the fast speed tier, but he generally will go first. His crystal affinity is dark, so if you want to train him up, definitely farm up those dark crystals. Looking at his stats on both level 1 and level 50, the ones that definitely stand out are his initial brave and his attack. They're definitely up there for a character, which is good because he's DPS. However, where he really falters is, first of all, he's quite squishy. At level 50, his HP is only 3,656. This is obviously, you know, without his gear, but still, that is still a little on the squishy side. His defense is okay, but where he really falters is his max brave is quite low for a DPS range character. It's at 1,227, so that's pretty low. But then again, you know, can't make every character perfect, but that's where his faults are. His first ability is Shadow Stealth, so it increases his brave by 20%, so whatever his brave is, it'll increase it by 20% of that amount, and then he does an HP attack. It grants him a small speed up for 3 turns, and if he manages to KO the enemy with Shadow Stealth, he will get a medium attack up for 8 turns. So that's pretty cool. He gets a nice buff to 2 stats if he's able to KO an enemy with that. And then his second ability is Wild Throw, which is a 3-hit Brave range attack. So it's very useful for Brave breaking since it is a multi-hit attack. Now we're gonna go ahead and go over Shadow's passive. So what passive does he have? So the first one he gets is Spite. So Spite gives him a 100% crit rate when his Brave equals or exceeds his initial Brave, and if his target's Brave is double of that. CP cost is 5. I feel like this passive is definitely more useful for bosses. So against mobs, it doesn't really matter because most mobs in the game now, especially for those of you that have been playing, you know, since launch, you're not going to really have any trouble with mobs. But definitely this passive is definitely good for bosses because most of the time, especially with bosses that like to really buff up their brave, especially with either AoE attacks or abilities, this ability can come in handy. His next passive is Buff Attack, which his attack is raised while under like any kind of buffs. Has a CP cost of 10, but it is good because, you know, you want Shadow to be dealing as much damage as you can. Seeing as his max brave is already quite low, so that attack boost definitely helps. Shadow Stealth Light is a small reduction in action delay after using the Shadow Stealth ability. Good again. I always stress that any type of passive that influences, action delay or, reduces that or influences the turn rate is always good. So that passive allows him to act a lot sooner after using Shadow Stealth. Wild Throw power-up is definitely good too, because you want Wild Throw to be doing as much damage as possible, since it is a multi-hit Brave attack, and you always have a chance to Brave Break since it is a multi-hit. Brave Speed Up slightly raises speed when Brave is over 50%. Not bad. He is fast enough as he is, but if you feel like he needs more speed, that's another passive you can throw on him. Wild Throw Light, a small reduction in action delay after using Wild Throw. Good again, because again, it influences the turn delay and it influences, the turn rate, so very, very good. Shadow Stealth Charge and Wild Throw Charge, very, very good, because it increases the usage of his abilities by +1. And then his final ability, unfortunately, I'm a little disappointed with it. If you guys disagree with me, feel free to let me know in the comment section below on why you think Assassination is good, but I personally do not think it's very good. So he has a low probability of inflicting poison on a target for 3 turns after an HP attack. This would have been great if it was at least a medium probability, but the fact that it's a low probability, I don't know. I really don't find much usage for it. I mean, if you have the extra CP to spend, you can definitely slap that on him. But if you want to, to poison an enemy, I would definitely recommend another character such as Shantoto with her Dark Magic Bio, because at least she has a medium chance to poison the target, whereas his is a low chance. So I wish that was medium, but it is what it is. That's what Shadow has for his passives. So his equipment lineup that we have currently in Global is he gets the 5-star Fuma Shuriken, which has a CP of 15 that it grants him, and if you happen to max Limit Break it gives him 30 CP, so this one increases the multiplier for Shadow Stealth instead of 20% to 40%, so now it grants 40% of whatever his Brave is, and also the medium attack up buff duration is extended, so that's pretty nice, so if you happen to pull Fuma Shuriken and you want to use Shadow, definitely you want to give him that. 4-star Shuriken, I'm just going to go over it, it gives him the passive of Initial Brave plus 55, not bad, and then his Ninja Gear, if you happen to pull it, gives his Max Brave plus 220, so that one is pretty good because, again, we already know Shadow has some pretty low Max Brave, so having his Ninja Gear will definitely help alleviate that just by a little bit. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and talk about Shadow's pros and cons. So what are his pros? So as we said earlier in the beginning, he has a pretty good attack stat, so it's fairly high. He has high initial Brave. He is in the fast speed tier, meaning he'll generally take his turns before others, and that is further complemented again by those passives that reduce the action delay on both of his abilities. So the type of character that he is considered a high frequency damage dealer. What that means is that you want to constantly be using Wild Throw, because not only does it build his Brave up, but it also has a chance of inflicting a Brave Break, and because of that, it complements him being a fast character because he can go right into an HP attack, such as his Shadow Stealth, or just his regular HP attack a lot sooner than other characters because of his high attack in being able to dish out that high Brave damage. So think of him as like, Terra, let's say, Terra is like single target burst damage, right? So she's like a rocket launcher, right? But she has to take time to build up her Brave with her chance. Whereas Shadow is kind of like a machine gun, he's kind of like pop, 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 bam, pop, 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 pop. So think of him that way. So his cons, as we already previously discussed, is he's super, super squishy, with his HP and defense being quite low, and then he has terrible Max Brave. He's currently the lowest for Max Brave, tied with Yuna, and Yuna's a support character, so that's where he falters. And his abilities on their own, it's a good thing they complement each other, but on their own, they're kind of subpar compared to everybody else's abilities, Singularity. But, together, if he uses them in conjunction, Wild Throw and Shadow Stealth, they are pretty good. But on their own, again, they're kind of subpar. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and talk about what could Shadow be given to be better, at least be a little bit more viable. So if they gave him a guaranteed debuff on one or both of his skills, that'd be great. So if they gave him, like, for example, Wild Throw will apply poison, or Shadow Stealth will apply an attack debuff, or a defense debuff, or a speed debuff, just any sort of, debuff would be great. If they gave him something like that, even if it's like a medium probability, definitely make him a lot more viable. An increase to either his HP or defense to give him a little bit more survivability would be good, or if they wanted to increase his Max Brave just a little bit, that would make him a little bit better too. Giving his 5-star gear a passive that adds a debuff to one of his skills would be nice. So let's say if his Fuma Kuma Shuriken added, like, let's say, like a debuff to Shadow Stealth, that would be nice. And then finally, this one is just for me personally, and for all of you Shadow fans out there, if they gave him Interceptor, make him a whole lot better, because where is Interceptor? Interceptor is always following Shadow around. So definitely, if Square decided to make Shadow better, these are some suggestions that I would have for them. If you guys have any suggestions on how to make Shadow better, definitely put them in the comment section below. I'd be, you know, more than happy to see what you guys, you know, have in mind. Alright, and lastly, let's talk about some good teammates that work well with Shadow. So any type of Brave Battery, Hope, Yuna, Ishtola, and Aiko, who we recently just got, to definitely help up speed his damage frequency, especially with Shadow Stealth. So then that way, instead of having to, let's say, use Wild Throw twice, you can always have your Brave Battery increase the Brave for everybody, so that way he only has to use it once, and then you could go right into Shadow Stealth. Okay, so that's one way a Brave Battery complements him. Warrior of Light and Galoof are our tanks of the game. It protects Shadow and allows him to freely attack the enemy without being targeted, so complements him well because he is a high frequency damage character. And then Terra, believe it or not, works well because her style of doing damage is she builds herself up slowly and then she deals massive damage with an HP attack with her Meltdown plus or Meteor plus. And the reason why I say this works well with Shadow is because of the way he is. He's kind of more like a damage go off. So that's why I say that Terra definitely works well with Shadow as a teammate. Alright, so after that little discussion on our underappreciated character Shadow, let's go ahead and take a look at some gameplay. Alright guys, so here we are with some gameplay showcasing Shadow along with two other teammates. Now the team that I decided to go with is Shadow, Terra, and Aiko. So we have Terra because she is that single target burst damage, you know, type of a character, and then we have Aiko as a Brave Battery to complement not only Shadow, but also Terra. Summon of choice is going to be Shiva, which is going to be cool because of that speed buff when our Brave is lower than our initial Brave. So let's go ahead and hop into battle here. We are going to be tackling the Trials of Shiva, Part 6. Alright, let's see. Let's take Kai. I'm going to use Kylera's Ida here. Alright, as you can see, because he is a fast speed tier character, he is generally going to be going first. Alright, we're going to go ahead and hit A here. Nice. Alright, so let's see Wild Throw in action. And as you can see, it broke right away, so look at his Brave already. It's already close to his max, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just Meteor Chant. Let's get a Smite off. Let's go ahead and Shadow Stealth. I'm not too concerned about getting Brave broken. We should be fine. Nice. We got the chase. So as you can see, because his attack stat is quite high, he builds Brave up pretty fast. You know, so it almost kind of makes up for the fact that he has low max Brave. And he's able to get off the HP attacks a lot faster than some other characters. So again, he is a high frequency damage dealer. It'll probably be a lot betterly shown when I actually fight the final boss of this stage. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead. Let's go ahead and use Wild Throw. Nice. Very cool. Let's do that. get a Shadow Stealth off. I want that speed buff.
Let's see.
Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and fight the Skull Dragon. Alright, so let's actually... We're gonna go for a Wild Throw. Nice, pretty good damage there. Let's see... Alright, so we're just gonna Brave Attack there. The Chant doesn't put her... Let's see... Actually, we're just gonna use Regan here. Just get a summon off now. Nice, and that reduce in action delay definitely helps. As you can see, Shadow was able to take another turn. Right. I'm just gonna HP attack. So this dragon's almost dead. Let's go ahead and finish him off with our boy Shadow. Alright guys, well that is going to be some gameplay with a team that showcases Shadow. I hope you guys, decide to use him. Even if he is not as good as some of the other characters out there, he's definitely fun to use. He's definitely, I feel like, underappreciated, but show him some love. He's a really, really cool ninja, and hopefully Square listens and they could give him Interceptor at least. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be doing some more content for you guys. I really love what I do, and thank you all of you for your support. Also, don't forget, I am doing a giveaway that is in partnership with another mobile developer named Enway Games. I'm going to be leaving the link to that giveaway below. Winner is going to be announced on Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for that giveaway. Once again, I am the Broadway Saiyan. My name is 40. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal, everyone.